we're going to look at several thrusting type techniques. So we're going to look at different types of thrusting attacks and different methods of dealing with them. So the first one we're going to look at is a little more of a committed thrust. Probably a less skilled opponent, it may be threatening with the knife, we see it. So as the knife lunges in, we're going to use what we call hollowing out technique. We're shifting back, moving the body away, bending over to concave the body to hollow itself out. Right? Now we don't just rely on that. As that happens, I'm driving the hands downward in a crossing block motion as we're here. Now once I make contact, I don't want to just stay here stiffly. Now, a little better fighter, once he feels that that's stopped, may turn the knife to pull back to cut. So if I'm just rigid here, I could get cut on the way back. This initial technique is to set up my technique. I don't want to be here, even if it's a larger opponent who wants to grab and then try to force the knife into me. Right? So I want to take that knife, once I hollow out, off center. And I'm already moving it to one side, which will set up my locks or my disarms as we come in. So a second type attacker that you're going to get is somebody just fixated on stabbing, and that's multiple stabbing. So they're going to come through and just fire in multiple stabs, usually from a close range that they can. So to deal that a little bit differently, when you see that, I'm going to drop, use a little more force on the cross. And so basically forming this wall to keep him from coming in. Now as he draws back, I want to kind of move forward a little bit if I can. So if we come in here one more time and it's stop, stop, and eventually pain is going to kick in, and if I'm shortening his thrusting range to the point to where I can hook it, slide in once again into a different lock, wrist lock, disarm, as we're here. So, but I still want to be, if he ended up changing tactics and tried to slice me, I want to be able to disengage. And so you have to be fluid in any situation. We can't fixate ourselves on one technique and then the opponent changes. We have to be able to flow and change. Right? So in that case, if I come here and I go to do a technique but he disengages, I want to re-engage with a backup technique. So that's why we train multiple techniques, and eventually we want to be able to have the skill to flow from one technique into the other, because you may find an opponent who can flow and you don't want to be rigid. Okay, thank you.